Hey there, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you. It is 6:30. That means it's time for live weather impact. And boy, do we have a couple things to talk about today. I think we sure do. It was a weird one across the Carolinas. You go from yesterday where all we were talking about was the sweating and the heat, and now we're on the flip side. And we told you it would be cold, but it happened. It's kind of amazing to see these things happen and come to fruition. Right now, we're looking at a pretty nice evening. Live look over Burlington at the moment, where the sun is still about an hour away from going down. Our sunset nowadays is happening a little closer to 7:30, and it is a pretty blue sky also. Temperature currently at 50 degrees over there in Alamance County. And if we look at our current temperatures around the region, most of us have rebounded. We got down into the 30s for a time earlier today. Not the case anymore. That sunshine, sometimes in the middle of the winter, the sun really doesn't do that much for you. March, the sunshine does matter. So if you get a couple hours of clearing, you're going to warm up. And we bounced up about a dozen degrees from earlier this afternoon. Now you'll notice we always put these little lines on the temperature map here. That's the wind direction. And so for today, we're starting to see that cooler wind is blowing in from the north, and it's still pretty hard. We're getting sustained winds at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. So the wind gusts have been a little higher than that from time to time. We're still gusting at about 30 miles per hour, even at 6 o'clock. So plan on that wind to be an issue, and it'll actually be an issue again tomorrow. We should have a pretty breezy day of weather on your Friday. Something we should have probably showed you earlier today, but here are your maximum wind gusts around the region. Winston-Salem got up to a 38 mile per hour wind gust. So did Burlington. Raleigh a little higher than that. And where they had storms, like Pinehurst, for example, a 52 mile per hour wind earlier today. And there have been some severe weather reports across North Carolina. The storm itself pushed off the coast over the last couple of hours, so they're pretty much all done now. But earlier today, there were a lot of problems. In eastern North Carolina especially, this is where most of those reports are coming in. I believe the Weather Service in Morehead City is going to survey a couple of these areas to see if there were any tornado touchdowns. We'll have that for you later on to see what they found. But in our neck of the woods, the only storm reports were, hey, look, some snowflakes, some sleet pellets. All of those things happened earlier today, mostly along and north of the Virginia border. Here's kind of the temperature trend throughout the course of the last day, and I'll take myself off so you can see it there. Mid-70s right around midnight, fell to right there around 70 at daybreak, and then in the middle of the day, which you think would be the warmest part of the day, we were in the upper 30s with those thick clouds, of course, as well. Now, we got some good rainfall today. That's a nice thing, considering we tell you, especially every Thursday, we tell you about how we remain in a drought. Winston-Salem led the way here, getting about an inch of rainfall. And this came down pretty hard at times across the area. And what we're going to find is that rainfall hopefully makes a little bit of a difference in our drought monitor. But basically, the update we got today shows no change. We're still in a D2, as they call it, or a severe drought. This is all long term. We've been doing all right the last couple of weeks, but over the last 7 or 8 months, it's been a bit of a problem. So where do we go from here? Want to make sure you know about tonight's weather because it will be getting cold toward tomorrow morning. Temperatures bottoming out right around 32 degrees. So around the area, you could have a little frost to start tomorrow morning. If you have some summer plants, summer flowers, or, trees that are in bloom, they could have some struggles with this. This is not necessarily a hard freeze, but it is pretty close, right around 31 to 32, in some cases 28, 29 degrees. So that'll leave an impact for tomorrow. Now, this doesn't leave us chilly all day. We'll still warm up to right around 60 for your Friday with some sunshine and a gusty wind. The wind is something you'll want to pay attention to for tomorrow. But the overall weather pattern through the weekend is not so bad. So we've got your day tomorrow where there's still a whipping wind around the region. After that, we will be warming up a little bit. On Saturday, I have us in the upper 60s, so not that bad at all. It'll be pretty comfortable for the afternoon, and the morning itself won't even be all that chilly. Beyond that, you see this warmer air. And a lot of times warmth at this time of year, it can get us in trouble because that warmth actually can lead to a lot of instability or fuel for storms and things like that. Today we got pretty lucky because most of the rain that we had was on the back side of our cold front. On Monday, that could be a little different. So the second half of the weekend, a stray shower is possible for Sunday. But looking at Monday, you see how we've got a lot of these winds kind of blowing in from the south and from the east. That's getting us pretty warm and humid before that cold front gets our way. And I blew it a little too fast here. Let's kind of slow it down. There's right around lunchtime. So around 2 to 3 o'clock, maybe 12 to 1 o'clock actually, that's when we're expected to see this cold front on Monday. The timing will be really important. If it gets here during the warmer part of the day, we're going to have a better chance of severe weather. If it comes in a little bit earlier in the cooler part of the day, we'll have a lower chance of that. So those are the things we'll be watching over the next couple of days as we track this for you. But bottom line, there is a storm on the way, a cold front on the way for Monday. It could bring some thunderstorms to us. And if we do see some of those, there's a chance that a couple of them could be on the strong to severe side. So most of North Carolina and South Carolina and Virginia actually outlined here in a severe weather risk for Monday. Usually this kind of equates to a level 2 risk out of 5. That's pretty significant being 5 days away. So we're going to track this each day for you, let you know what we know as we get a little bit closer. But it could be a situation where we have at least a low-level tornado threat for a couple of hours on your Monday. The long-term trend, once we get rid of that cold weather Tuesday into Wednesday, we'll start to even out again. And once you get toward the end of the month of March, your average highs, they're trending into the mid-60s a little bit better. So we'll have a good chance for some pretty comfortable weather toward the finish of the month. 7-day forecast looks like this. There's still a lot of variety heading into tomorrow. A cold morning, but it warms up for the afternoon. We'll have a high in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. Keep in mind it's super windy. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday looks dry. We'll be in the upper 60s. Sunday, that's where we have a chance of a couple scattered showers, mostly for the afternoon time. So keep an eye on that. For Monday, those storms, we're going to watch it right now, just several days away. But it does look to me like at least a better chance than what we just went through of having some that get strong or severe, mostly with damaging winds. And then after that, the bottom really falls out. St. Patrick's Day is cold. 42 for the high this time of year. That's pretty chilly. We'll have some morning temperatures that are rough, right around 27 and 24 for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then after that, we'll start to warm up a little bit, but it will take some time. It'll be a little bit of a struggle before we kind of get back to more comfortable weather. That's a look at your local forecast. As you know, we'll take a little quick break. Then we'll get in here with Brad Panovich from Charlotte. We'll talk all about the crazy Carolina weather next.